One of my favorite stitches to show students is the triple straight stitch. It's actually stitch number 2, right after a normal straight stitch. So this is 3 times as thick. So on the Pfaff Ambition 610 sewing machine, this machine has the ability to do a lot of stretch stitches, stitches that are forward and back, and you're going to love what the results are, especially once you see them. So I'm going to first sew it so you can see how it looks, and I'm going to sew it on the bias. That's why I have this fabric kind of on the diagonal, and I'm going to just use the stop button. First I got to pick stitch 2. All right, it looks just like a normal straight stitch. One thing nice that you can do with this, you can move it to all different needle positions, but it sets it up at a stitch length of 4 millimeters long. It's taking 2 stitches forward and 1 back. So it doesn't look any different, but I think once you see what the result is, you're going to realize why I love it. So number 1, it is 3 thicknesses of the thread that you're using, strong, and it's very bold. So sometimes when people say, oh, I want to get a really thick thread, I'm like, well, why don't you just use the stitch that's built into your machine? But so many times people don't take the time to sew out their decorative stitches, so they don't realize that some of them are actually much heavier than they are pictured on the little panel up here. Next, it is stretchy. So it has the stretch and give that you're looking for a really strong seam. Let's talk about like a pair of pants. In the seat or crotch of the pant leg or pants, you will want a very strong stitch that has some give. So every time you sit down, that seam doesn't pop open. I've also used this in our Pfaff Stitching Cosmos online course when I'm looking for a accent stitch or something to space out, or even I use it for like eyeliner, which means I take there will be a decorative stitch and I might add an extra line of stitching to it to brighten it up, just like we would use eyeliner for our eyes. Now, since there is a triple straight stitch, there's also a triple zigzag. It happens to be stitch number 6. Comes up just like a normal zigzag, but when you stitch it, you're going to get the triple version, so 3 times as strong. I also like to use this stitch when I'm stitching things with bags or where handles are going to go in. So if you've ever stitched something where you've stitched it multiple times just to give it a stronger hold, and then it kind of looks kind of homemade, you'll find that if you use a triple straight stitch, it looks more professional and holds much, much better. So here's the triple zigzag, almost kind of looks rick-rack like. I mean, it's strong. How about that with variegated thread as it changes color down the seam? So once again, I do encourage you to check out how to make the ultimate stitch book. There's a link below this YouTube video where you can see how we make that for our Pfaff Stitching Cosmos online course. That's a free video that you can watch. And be aware of all the stitches that you have in your machine.